Hey there. I wanted to share an example of the multidimensional growth expansion spiral. Yeah. So somebody very, 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 very close to me and close to my heart had reached out to me just yesterday because they were feeling distressed. And I listened to them. I held space for them and just sat with them in what they were feeling and experiencing. And when it came to a natural point in the interaction, I offered that, you sound extremely uncomfortable. And just for anybody listening, there is such a thing as emotional pain. Duh, right? Yeah, we know that. But do we ever talk about it and acknowledge it? Not so much. I don't think so. There's actually an emotional pain scale that we'll use in at work. And when it comes to emotional pain, we want to treat that just like we would physical pain, right? It's discomfort, and we're gonna take actions and interventions. Can't think of the word. Incorporate interventions to help decrease that pain, to help the person move through it and get to the other side. So anyway, I clearly this person was in distress. They were in discomfort. They were feeling very restless. Restless is a form of agitation. It's a form of discomfort. It's a form of mental, emotional, physical distress, right? And just because it's not extreme doesn't mean that it should be dismissed or somebody should be told, yeah, well, you'll have to get through that, whatever. So anyway, and I offered that when I'm feeling that way, what I have found to be helpful for me is to come back to center. And center can look like something different for everybody. So for me, it's coming back to my heart and bringing all my attention, all my focus back into my heart and releasing everything around me, anything that's going on around me, and just coming back to my heart. And then I'll ground. So grounding can be different for everybody too. It can look like you can visualize dropping an anchor into the ground, going down into Gaia, into Mother Earth, and allowing her to lovingly receive that anchor and send love back up through it. It can look like roots. Another visualization I really love to use for grounding is standing by the ocean as the waves come up around my ankles, and then as they go back out, my feet sink a little deeper in the sand each time. So I explained, I'll connect, and I offered to them some of the ways that I had heard them just in that conversation tell me that they were, I said connect, I meant center, the way that they were coming back to center. So this is how I hear you doing that, and this is how I hear you grounding. And then another thing I'll do, and sometimes these are happening all at the same time, it's not necessarily linear, is I'll connect. So whether I'm connecting to my higher self, connecting to God, connecting to other people by reaching out and sharing what you're experiencing, and I shared with the person on the phone, this is how you're connecting right now. You're calling, you're reaching out, you're sharing, you're connecting. And what happens then as we do those things is it clears space in our energy fields for us to process what's happening on all levels, mentally, emotionally, physically. And it where did it go? It's there. It's right there. So it's clearing space for us, and it's allowing our bodies to calibrate. I'm not sure how many people realize that our bodies are processing energy over and over, constantly processing energy. And you can only process the frequency of energy that your body is calibrated to process. And this particular person is going through a lot. And as they're going through a lot, their perspective is shifting. They're finding new edges to what they're able to hold space for themselves. They're growing, they're expanding. And so in this moment, this person was sharing things with me, and I reflected back at them because they had said, well, I'm not quite ready for that yet. And what had come to me was, yeah, you're still calibrating towards that. Clearly, like you're saying, you're getting there, but you're not quite calibrated yet. And so when you're going through this process of this growth spiral, you are continuously allowing yourself to clear space, and you really are recharging then in that moment. You're clearing the space, and typically when your space is cleared, you're going to feel so much better because you don't have the weight of everything weighing down on you, and that allows you to recharge. There's a lot of other ways you can recharge too. Grounding in and gaining that energy from Mother Earth, connecting with your higher self and God and gaining that energy there, allowing it all to flow through you. That's another way you can recharge. Anyway, back to the story. So as I was talking with this person, as we were experiencing this time together, their whole mood shifted and became lighter and brighter, and it was just a really wonderful conversation. I think it was healing for them. And we had talked about, there was something they wanted to do. They didn't know what it was. So we kind of did some troubleshooting with, well, you could try this, you could try this. And as we did that troubleshooting, they were able to feel in their body what that felt like and decide if that felt like a direction they wanted to go or if they wanted to try something different. They could, as they were clearing that space, then they had more room to discern what the next natural step was for them. They were able to hear and feel and sense that internal guidance because they didn't have the weight of the outside world pushing in on them. So, they cleared that space, they were recharging, and they were able to then expand beyond that original edge, that original boundary of what they could energetically handle during that conversation. So they found new space to grow. They were able to see the next step on the path where they were going to grow. And naturally now, as they move into that, as they walk that path, as they move into that new space, that expanded boundary that they've created for themselves, they will eventually start to feel uncomfortable again in that growth. And then the whole thing the cycle starts all over in that aspect of their life at this time. They will find that new edge. They're going to feel uncomfortable. So then come back to center. They can always come back to center and do the whole process again. And in doing this, you clear a lot. There's a lot of healing that happens. There's going to be a lot of things that come up where you start to shift your perspectives and essentially reprogram the perceptions, ideas, thoughts that are somewhat the cause of those boundaries and edges that you're coming up against. There's a lot happening. It's multidimensional. It's mind, body, spirit expanding, and so that's an example there. Take care, guys. Bye.